Blue Jays go to Cleveland, they can't hit for 4 days, then they go to Boston and ruin the opener for the defending World Series champions. Which Blue Jays are the real Blue Jays? Let's find out. That's Ben, I'm Arden, it's At The Letters, brought to you by the all-new 2019 Ford Ranger. Ben, we're only like 12 games into the season. You can't tell that much by a dozen games, but that's what we're here to do. That's what we do for a living. So, which Blue Jays are the real Blue Jays? The ones that I saw for 4 days over the weekend in Cleveland, who couldn't hit at all, who were striking out a ton, who looked like they didn't have a clue at the plate? Or the Blue Jays who went into Fenway Park, or suddenly sacrificed bunting, they're stealing home, doing all kinds of cool stuff?
I think it's probably the version that you saw in Cleveland, or at least closer to that version they couldn't hit. Yeah, I think when you're looking at this lineup, there are a lot of holes in it. There are a lot of players who are developing, a lot of uncertainty when you have a group this young. And so I think that to expect an above average offense from this group would probably be unrealistic, especially when you have Alan Hansen playing first base, when you have Socrates Brito batting in the 2-hole. These are not the traits of a dominant offensive team. Yeah, on paper, not one of the best teams in baseball. I don't think they're as bad as they've been. It's kind of interesting to actually look at the context of it and look at, Cleveland beat the Blue Jays 4 times consecutively, and by the end of it, still didn't have better offensive numbers as a team than the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays, while they were bottom 10, I mean, they weren't the very bottom of baseball, which is really damning with faint praise, is what I'm doing right now. I think they're probably a below league average offense. Like, I could see them being in that, 15, 16, 17 range. I think that once Justin Smoke gets over his neck injury, he'll be good. I think Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is going to have some luck coming back around. I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to impact this lineup in a big way when he gets up. By the way, that should be the day after his service time has been appropriately manipulated. You look like you might disagree. Well, I think let him rehab first, right? He's coming back from an oblique strain. It's not an easy injury to come back from, and he's still rehabbing. He hasn't played in back-to-back games yet. He hasn't hit an extra base hit yet. So I think give him a little bit of time, then you ease him into the lineup once he's ready. Maybe even a stint in Buffalo in there, just to make sure that he's fully comfortable.
Then they canceled the game in Buffalo today because it was too cold to play it. You want to send Vladimir Guerrero Jr. there?
I'm saying it's on the table because you want to make sure he's fully ready to come back from that oblique injury. And what we're not mincing words here, they are manipulating his service time. They're trying to get that 7th year of control, and they're going to have it as of Friday. But I don't think that you need to bring him back that first day after, just because he's someone who's still trying to get to full game speed.
If he's playing 9 innings in Dunedin right now, what's stopping him from playing 9 innings at Rogers Center or 9 innings in Oakland next week?
And once he does it back-to-back, then I think that we're ready to have that discussion.
Bring him here now. We need him in this lineup now. Alan Hansen's playing first base.
And like Freddie Galvis, when you have Freddie Galvis as the best offensive performer on your team, it's not a good sign, because Galvis, for all of his strengths, and he's really been good offensively, you saw that and wrote about that in Cleveland, but for all of his strengths, he's not supposed to be the anchor of this lineup. He's supposed to be maybe your number 8 or 9 hitter on a good team. Instead, he's been the Jays' best hitter.
Blue Jays won the offseason with Freddie Galvis and Matt Shoemaker. Winners of the offseason. Last thing we want to talk about is strikeouts. Blue Jays striking out a lot, like literally setting records for the amount of strikeouts in a 4-game series, but the context of that is that we are in a strikeout era. We're in a 3 true outcomes era. The ball is in play less often than it ever has been. Each of the last 12 seasons, a new strikeout rate record has been set in MLB, and this year's 2019 strikeout rate is 1% higher than the 12th consecutive record set. So what's the balance there? Are the Blue Jays striking out too much? Are they just in an era where everybody's striking out a lot?
Yeah, I think there's no way around it. To play baseball in 2019 means you're going to strike out. It means you're going to have pitchers who have these amazing breaking balls that fall off the table, that fade. Like, there's no way to hit this unless you're the absolute best in the world, and even then you're going to strike out. So I think that under those circumstances, we can't be surprised, and you can't expect anything different, because that's the way baseball works now.
I think it's the kind of strikeouts, like if you are waving at like a really, really tough breaking ball from Trevor Bauer, I mean, that's gonna happen. Everybody in baseball is going to do that. But if you're looking at a hittable fastball on the plate for strike 3 because your approach is all messed up, that's the type of strikeout you don't want. Like, that's the thing that's really encouraging with Bo Bichette, is like he takes these huge cuts at the first 2 strikes that he sees. Once he's in a 2-strike count, quiets down the leg kick, goes to more of a, a toe tap setup, and he is protecting the plate, and he is looking to stay alive, and at bats and foul pitches off. I think that that's the type of approach you want to see from the Blue Jays. You don't necessarily want to see them trying to, launch angle everything. And we saw it in Boston, game 1 of that series at Fenway. We saw a lot of Blue Jays with Chris Sale knowing what they're going to get and going the opposite way.
A lot of blue hits, few that snuck through, and even a steal of home. That, I guess, is what it takes to score for this team, but eventually the home runs will come.
Blue Jays offense, not this bad, still kind of bad. That's Ben, I'm Arden. It's At The Letters.